out of Limerick FM. There was evidence of that and the outpouring of support when reports initially emerged that the station itself was facing closure. When RTE made the decision to base Limerick FM in Limerick, it was a statement and seen as a statement of intent and commitment to the regions. It is particularly concerning that the University of Limerick offered to host Limerick FM in the months leading up to this announcement, but RTE did not take up this offer. In fact, I understand they ignored the offer until the offer of UL became public. Minister, in my view, it was a visionary offer to RTE by the President of UL, Des Fitzgerald, to offer Limerick FM a home in the campus of UL, but it fell on deaf ears.
Could you explain to me what was done there? Did you yourself speak to the Dr. Des Fitzgerald from the University of Limerick about the offer that they made to us, which was a real generous offer, and would have kept Limerick FM in the city? And if you really truly want to be a national broadcaster, there's a lot we need to do. We need to look at the way RTE has worked in the past. It hasn't had working class voices on there very often. It has been very D4 centric. You mightn't like to hear that, but that's what it's been there. There's discussions that take place on Saturdays and Sundays that I know nobody in my constituency hardly ever listens to it, because it doesn't raise issues that affects them. And as Deputy Colnan said, often when working class communities are portrayed on RTE, it's not in a positive way, it's often in a negative way. And I know, for instance, I'm only ever contacted by RTE when it's a bad news story about Limerick, unfortunately.
Are all centred in Donnybrook, Dublin 4, all of them. The downside is outside the capital, and it's particularly in Limerick. The Government should stop this Dublin-centric plan, which goes against the goals of the National Planning Framework, Minister, and I think anybody, all the Government Ministers, should be concerned that this is actually re-centring what RTE is doing back into Dublin and to some extent into Cork, and it's not acceptable. The removal of Limerick FM from Limerick is positively destructive. The station has been firmly rooted in the cultural life of the city since it was set up there 20 years ago. It sustains and is sustained by a wide variety of cultural organisations and venues. And in about 3 hours' time, Minister, there is a big roar of support music events starting in the Irish Chamber Orchestra's home in the University of Limerick, starting at 5:30 this evening, with the Irish Chamber Orchestra, the Irish Chamber Choir, the Limerick Choral Union, Voices of Limerick, Encore, the Goonas, Shoda, East Clare Community Choir, and students from the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance, which, as you know, is based in the University of Limerick. The people of Limerick are fighting back against RTE's plans, and we want the Government to support us. There is no justification for taking Limerick out of Limerick. Limerick costs €4.31 out of each person's licence fee of €130 per year. It will still cost, my estimate would be at least half, but maybe more of that, to run it from Dublin and Cork. And it will cost some fine people their jobs because they cannot uproot their families and move. It's particularly unfair to those employees who have given their commitment to the policy of Limerick for the last 20 years to operate out of Limerick, and to expect them to move their families and their lives. And I was very concerned when I heard Dee Forbes on the radio saying that of the voluntary redundancies that RTE is seeking, that they're expecting a significant enough number of those to come from Limerick. In other words, they're going to force people who are based in Limerick, who work for Limerick, to actually have to opt for voluntary redundancy because they can't afford to move to Dublin or Cork, or they won't move their children out of their schools, etc. That is wrong. I've already called on RTE to respond to the offer from the President of the University of Limerick, who has been referred to earlier, Dr. Des Fitzgerald, to provide a home for Limerick in the university campus when the lease on their present location expires, which I understand will happen at the end of 2020. And I'm now calling on the Minister to insist that this option is explored positively. UL is already home to the Irish Chamber Orchestra, the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance, and they have an excellent media facility with people coming out, graduates, postgrad course in journalism, media journalism, etc. So it is a perfect home. Practitioners and academics in the university already have close ties with Limerick, and it would be a very good fit for the station to move there. It would be a profound blow to the artistic and cultural identity of Limerick if Limerick is removed. This is not and cannot be a fait accompli. And I'm asking the Minister here and the Government to stand with us and tell RTE that it cannot take Limerick out of Limerick. It is as simple as that.